So this is my book of choice presentation. It's A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bea. Quick summary. Ishmael Bea was a 12-year-old boy when he had to flee from his village in 1993, and when he was 12 years old, he was recruited by the RUF, which was a Sierra Leone rebel army. And when he was 13, he got captured by the army that was fighting against the rebels, and for the next 3 years, he was fueled by drugs and pain until he got to a Sierra Leone correctional facility for soldier boys, small children that needed therapy. Genre? So it's not officially a psychological horror, but when I was reading it, I kind of found it to be one. It was super stressful for me, and everyone around him kept dying in really horrible ways that you didn't really expect. So it really caught you off guard, and I was supposed to raise awareness, and it did it super well. The first person, past tense, because it is Ishmael's story, and it's an autobiography. Yeah. So storytelling. So it was super realistic. It doesn't really sugarcoat anything. It told all the gruesome details and every experience that he had, or probably. And even though it was super traumatizing for him, he didn't really hold back on giving the readers everything that they've needed to know. It was chronological, so it was pretty easy to keep track of, really smooth sailing throughout the book. Like I said, super detailed. Made it really scary at sometimes. Like I said, I was stressed out, and I don't really get stressed out watching movies or reading books especially. And fast paced, even though it was detailed and really well told, it was pretty fast paced, which made it easy to keep someone's attention if you're easily distracted. The theme. The main point of the story was to raise awareness for child soldiers, not just in Sierra Leone, anywhere, but it taught a lot of other lessons throughout the story. And most of the lessons were shared by, clear-cut, wise characters. Like, they pointed out the people that they figured were pretty smart and mature, and then from that point on, those people kept giving solid advice until they died. Characterization. Ishmael Bea only tells us what he knows. Ishmael Bea illustrated the characters only by what he remembers. And so if somebody had less time in the story, then we knew less about them. And if they had more time in the story, we knew more about them, which kind of makes it feel like it was my memory, which made it a lot more immersive and a lot more interesting for me to read. And another thing that he did was, rather than describe each character physically, he described how each of them made him feel emotionally. Obviously, he included some physical attributes that stood out to him, but this also, I'm using the word immersive and interesting a lot, but it made it very, very immersive and interesting. This is Ishmael joined the RUF when he was 12, and he began his recovery when he was 16, and he is now 44 years old. It's his autobiography. He made it, I believe, by himself, and couple obviously editors and maybe some translators, but he did travel back to the United States after his recovery, and he has been living here ever since and visiting his hometown every now and then. Craft, I've learned how to maintain good pacing, as this story does it as well, and how to represent characters throughout a story and provide accurate details without overtelling. Because like I said earlier, he only tells us what he remembers, which made it feel a lot more genuine. And like if you were in this situation, you wouldn't be noticing these things. You'd be noticing, you know what I mean. The author builds the world, like I said, as he takes it in himself. So it just makes it feel a lot more genuine on his part. He doesn't make stuff up. Like, this might have been here, this could have been here. He just told us what he remembers. And since he was on a lot of drugs during those 3 years that he was in the army, the army segment is really, really short, but that also gave mind to how fast it was for him as well, and how fast his childhood went by. My thoughts on this book, I think I've already expressed how much I like this book. It's very enjoyable for people who like super realistic war situations, which, I mean, I do, but that's a little specific. I'd recommend it to just about anybody, because we can all learn something from it, and whenever I read it, it makes me feel a lot more appreciative of the life I have. I know it's kind of an overused statement, but this book really does that. And yeah. That was terrible. Just give me a good grade, please.